Hi guys, this video is all about 360 breathing. We're going to start with the basics of 360 breathing, what that is, and then go into 4 different variations of how to do this. In the context of postpartum healing and rehabilitation, we want to make sure that we have good posture, alignment, and breathing mechanics to help restore normal function to our core and stabilize our spine. So what I mean by 360 basically is that we're expanding 360 around the entire lower rib cage. So a lot of the time you'll hear the term belly breathing. And if we're belly breathing and all the expansion is coming through our belly, we can actually hinder or slow down the healing of a diastasis. Alternatively, many of us shallow breathe or chest breathe, and when we do this, we don't engage our diaphragm or our core at all. We can tend to overuse a lot of our accessory muscles, and it will increase tension in our ribs, shoulders, and neck up here. So 2 ways to picture 360 breathing. One is like you're blowing up a balloon. So when you do that, the entire balloon expands. So if you visualize your belly like an expanding balloon, that's one way. Another way that some people can connect with is if you had an umbrella that was closed in the midline of your body, and as you inhale, that umbrella expands 360 degrees around the lower rib cage. So that expansion will be dispersed front, back, and side to side. The first thing you're going to do is just try this 360 breathing in multiple different positions. So seated is one. Having your hands on your ribs to help give yourself feedback and for your brain to reconnect with this part of your body can be helpful. We're also going to try it on our back. So if you lay on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat, you can start with one hand on your chest and one on your belly, making sure that that expansion is not happening through the upper chest, but that it's all going through the lower rib cage and into the belly. Once you have that part down, switching your hands to your lower ribs so that you can feel that expansion happening through the lower rib cage is super helpful. Try doing 5 to 10 breaths in each of those positions. Now, the first way that we're going to add more difficulty to breathing is by doing an activity called arms overhead breathing. So to do this, all you need to do is lay on the ground and get a pillow or something to prop your wrists up. So I'm going to use this pad right here, and you're going to be on your back. You're going to reach your arms all the way overhead with your thumbs pointed down. One of the first things we want to do in correcting breathing mechanics and alignment postpartum is reducing our rib flare. So when we bring our arms overhead, it encourages our ribs to flare up like this. We're going to find our muscles that attach our low rib to our pelvis and engage those muscles to bring our ribs down and untilt our pelvis so that we're neutral. Keeping the arms overhead, we're breathing that 360 expansion, front, back, side to side, with the ribs engaged down. 5 breaths in this position. So that's the arms overhead breathing. Second one is called a Passover exercise. So for this, you can either use a book or a yoga block. Eventually, you can progress to a small weight if you have them. We're starting with our arms straight and your book or yoga block at your pelvis. We don't want to have our ribs flared, so we're engaging our muscles to bring our ribs down. We're going to take a big breath, inhale, expand 360. As we exhale, we're reaching the arms overhead, but keeping those ribs down. Once you get to the top, you're going to inhale again, expand 360. Exhale, the arms return back down to the pelvis. Inhale, expand 360, keep those ribs down. And then exhale as you go overhead. Same thing with this one, practice that for 5 breaths. The next variation of our breathing exercise is called sidelying breathing. And so this is a good way to work on each side of your rib cage individually. You can do this laying down on the floor, just grab a pillow on your bed or your couch. In a side-lying position with your hips stacked, one on top of the other, you're putting your hand on your rib cage. In this case, my right rib cage is blocked by the table, so I'm focusing all my breath into the left side of my rib cage. Inhale, expand 360, focusing on the left rib cage expanding, and exhale, making sure we're not shallow breathing and having the entire shoulder girdle elevate. You would do 5 breaths on this side and alternate with 5 breaths on the other side. And then the final exercise, the one part of the rib cage we haven't addressed yet, is the backside. And so because that diaphragm attaches from our sternum and around our rib cage all the way around to the spine, this one is called back body breathing. So there's two variations that you can use for this one. If you have a sturdy piece of furniture or a railing, that's the way you're gonna start. And what you're gonna do is basically get down into a squat position. I'll have a variation if you're unable to do this, but ideally we have our feet flat so we're not stuck up on our toes. We're holding on to the piece of furniture, the railing. We're letting our head fully hang, and we're inhaling and expanding through the back body, pretty much right across the bra line in this case. If you have a partner at home or somebody that can put a hand to give you feedback to feel that expansion, you're gonna do 5 breaths in this position. Alternatively, you can set yourself up on a stool. So this one's not quite high enough, but if you had like a little kitchen stool or you sat on the lowest step of your staircase, you would sit, hang your body through your legs and do the same thing. So that would be a variation if you are unable to get into that deep squat with your feet flat. And those are all of the basics of 360 breathing and your 4 different versions of it.